Hi, welcome to Friday Sews. What do carrots, lanterns, and clowns all have in common? Keep watching, you'll find out. Hi, this is Kathy, and I've come back again for another episode of my sewing practice. I still have not made 10 episodes, so you're catching me at the beginning wave. Last spring, while watching a sewing workshop video by Linda Lee that she puts out every Tuesday, I became aware of a style of pant that has an elastic waist usually, starts tapering out at the waist, and continues to taper out and go down till about the knee and then taper back in. These sometimes are called lantern pants, carrot pants, clown pants. They're slightly different than wide leg pants because the wide leg pants are somewhat fitted and then go straight down, whereas these go out and then back in. So Linda described a pattern she had created called the Picasso pant. It also has a coordinating top, and I'm assuming that the name is in reference to the fact that there's pretty many pieces that you piece together. This pant comes from extra small to XXL, and that is a waist from 24 to 37. I wouldn't worry about that though, because the elastic is there, and you could probably, if you could get it over your hips, you'll be fine. And also the hips go from 34 to 47. Linda, at this time, I don't know if she's increasing her size range. It didn't say on her site. However, it looked like there was some framework there to make me think maybe she is. I'm going to start from the top down. So this is an elastic waisted pant, but the front is flat. Linda has a way of feeding in this elastic that creates the flat front, and it's very nice. I don't want to give too much of away because I feel like it's her technique and it's not for mine to share with you, but it's a really good elastic waist technique that comes out quite nice. And as far as the instruction goes, those are really good too. So I have the instructions here for you. I've printed most of them out, and I find that I like to print my instructions out so I can write notes. But she has the diagrams. And they're just very clear, very easy to check off and add notes to. So overall, I would say her instructions are perfect. Not too much, not too little. Now, pockets. For some reason, pockets are supposed to be a personal preference, and they, I guess, are. But let me tell you how it should be. The top of your garment should have decorative pockets. They're not functional, they're just decorative. The bottom of your garments, in other words, pants, skirts, and the bottom of dresses, they need functional pockets. And they don't need to be the star of the show, they just need to hold a phone. So, Linda has an add-on, it's free, for a bag pocket. And it's one of the good bag pockets that actually attach up into the waist. And what else is good about this bag pocket is, well, I gotta explain to you the next thing. This pant, instead of having a front and a back, it has 3 panels. So a front, a side, and a back. So the front seam is what you would normally have for your side seam. So you put the pockets in these frontish seams, and then you don't have all that weight and bulk coming off your side. So they're really quite nice pockets. However, they're not quite big enough for my iPhone. So I had to improve it. So I did. So again, like I said, there are 3 panels, and the side panel just simply looks like a long rectangular sort of shape, which as you can see, I added 1 inch in length. And then I cut apart the pattern, and this will now be the back of a patch pocket type of patch pocket. And then I again extended the pattern up, which then you fold down, and that will be the front of your pocket, the lining. And then the two pieces go together like so. And that's your pocket. So that's a change I made to the pattern. Now, when I found this pattern last year, I was in the midst of learning how to fit pants patterns. So, you know, I kind of knew how to construct them, but I didn't really know how to fit them at all. And so I watched Kim from Dorothy's Daughter. She is really knowledgeable, very good, and that in-house studio. And I got some tips on how to fit pants. So when I made this pattern, I, again, just did a regular length adjustment. That's not that part. But in the seat, I did add 1 inch. I have a pretty long torso, so I added 1 inch. I later decided that I probably don't need this particular inch, but I did add length in the back. So this is my scoop in the back, and I added some length in the back without adding it in the front. Then, this is the best part. I got to do a low seat adjustment. Isn't that sweet? How low can I go? But that's what it's called, and it worked really well. And yes, I had to extend out my crotch curve because that works best for me. So that's the back piece. The front piece, I did similar things. I extended the crotch curve a little bit, and I added a little length. So that's what I did in the front. Okay, next. I think we'll talk about fabrics. So between it being a different silhouette and me not really knowing great how to fit pants and not knowing really what, I started with an extra large. So, as a matter of fact, I wondered if it would even get over my hips because it said it only went up to like a 37 or something, but sure enough, that's not an issue at all. And I started with some quilting cotton. Now keep in mind, this is a toile. I kind of know better than to sew with quilting cotton, but a friend had given me something she had decided against, and it is not my style at all. It looks a little bit like something you would see on the walls of Downton Abbey, something like that. And I sewed them up, put them on, and my legs were in their happy place. It was like they both had their little bedrooms and they were just enjoying life. It felt fabulous and it looked kind of silly. And so I just laughed and thought, well, I'll make them a smaller size, which I proceeded to do. But I have to tell you more about my toile, because what would happen is that I would work hard around the house or, you know, go do sports or whatever, and I'd be sweaty. And, you know, we're getting into the hot part of the year, and we're talking last year. And I'd come in about 2 or 3 and shower and just want to put something on because, you know, you're still hot and sticky. And I would reach for those pants. I mean, they were just so perfect. And so I'm like, what is up with this? And then I figured out I could wear them to garden in. They were the perfect thing. They had pockets. They were wide, so if you bend over, no floppy bits came out over the top. My knees were protected, but they were still airy. And I have got the best gardening outfit in town. Let me show you. So these are the pants. Again, is that a bit much or what? But I'm telling you, they are fun. And then I bought this t-shirt that I wasn't super in love with, but it's perfect. It was from Anthropology, so I paid quite a bit. And so it goes perfect with this. And so unless I'm getting into bushes where you're gonna get your arms scratched up, I have got the cutest gardening outfit in all of my little neighborhood. And I can get so much work done. if you're cool and comfortable and your knees are protected. Okay, so I guess you have figured out I'm going to go on to a second pair, which of course I did. The next pair is going to be a size smaller, and I'm going to make them out of linen. Now, where I live, if you want to get linen in the store, you're going to get probably a Robert Kaufman linen. And they have two ranges that can be a little confusing. So the first range is the thicker one. This is not what I made my pants out of, by the way. It's called Essex. It's just a little heavier. It still has the warp and weft being two different colored threads. So I think technically that would be a chambray. But the one I made out of is the lighter one, and that's called the Brussels washer linen. And as a side note, when you make voluminous pants, you can make them out of pretty thin fabric. So think shirting fabric if you want. I mean, and yeah, I mean, you can just go lighter. So these are them. And I've had these for about a year now. So they are just really, really softening up. This is the chambray color, and I did buy it at a local store, and I got what was left on the bolt, so I didn't get quite enough. So that's the only thing that is kind of off about these pants, is they're a little short. And I'm, of course, inserting pictures. But when I looked on Style Maker, they had this linen, and they had it in a lot of colors. And this particular color, which I know is chambray, shows up a little more purple than I think it is. At least that's how it shows up on my screen, is a little bit on the lavender side, and it's not. So again, I put in these side pockets, which are really in the front. And then if you go around, you've got your elastic waist back and your flat front. And like I said, or maybe I didn't, but the waistband is just one piece, and it still comes out really nice. And then these are my phone pockets. And then I'm going to go, and I haven't really described the bottom that much yet. So there's the 3 panels, and then sewn onto each panel is a trapezoid shape that kind of comes in. Like I said, they're kind of a trapezoid shape, so they're bigger at the top than at the bottom. And then the hem is just a 1-inch hem, and there's no need to get fancy with it, just machine sew it. And like I said, the only thing that these pants lack is just a little length, but of course they're cooler that way. But now that I've taken a pretty deep dive into wider leg pants, I'm starting to come to the conclusion that I think longer is more attractive. I mean, I thought that it was kind of an open number, like you could go anywhere on the calf and it'd still be cute, but I think that it might look better if it's a little bit longer. Okay, so this is a good time to say this is Friday Sews. And thanks, Jen, so much for setting this up. Jen set up the hashtag Friday Sews, and she is over on YouTube also in, oh, I always forget. I always want to call it Jen's Sewing Room, but it's something else. Darn it. Let me look. So she put together the channel, and we can talk about our sewing. And then after that, we can talk about our personal life, or what's going on in our life. So I guess we're in a season of things breaking, things getting fixed. So the things that are getting fixed is my wedding ring. I got it enlarged, so yay. I had to get it over one size larger. I hadn't worn it for like 10 years. So that was really great, and more importantly, I found a good jeweler, so that was nice too. And as far as breaking, well, I had a recall on the car, so that didn't cost me anything, but it was just inconvenient. But our outside plumbing is not behaving. We'll just leave it at that. I've been doing some alterations. So normally I don't mind them that much, and I'm talking about from other people, but for some reason they just all hit at once. So the one thing I'll sort of picture here is that I had to fix my granddaughter's dance outfit, her costume. And whoever made this, like, is that called the tutu, the part on the outside? I don't know. The one that has all the fullness on it. Okay, whoever made it, like, did a great job, but this is how they did it, is they made a beautiful, complete waistband with elastic and then athletic fabric around it. Seamless, like, really good job. And then they attached 3 layers of gathered netting. So to take it in, like to reverse engineer that thing, was like, oh my goodness, I can't make it look perfect. So I just had to take off that netting and then fold over the elastic and sew the netting back on. But whoever sized her, I don't know what they were thinking, because the bathing suit part of the dance outfit hugs are so tight and it's so slick. They needed to really account for quite a bit of negative ease, which they didn't. And I'm like, did they measure over her pants or something? I mean, it was way off and it wouldn't have stayed on. So that was, and there was 2 of them. So I had to do that. Then my friend has this little cardigan, and let me get the pattern because I actually did make it for her. So just a moment. Okay, so it's been great. She's been on my sewing journey with me, but she doesn't sew, but she will help me like with input, and then I make things for her. So this pattern, she has really enjoyed. She loves wearing like what I call a 3rd piece, so a little cardigan over things. And so it must have been like 2 years ago. Yeah, it says here I did it November of 2020 is what it says on my notes here. We bought this fabric from Style Maker. It's a visco knit, and she was a little fashion forward because at the time this color was coming out, but I wasn't a fan yet. And she has loved this. Oh, it smells good. She always has such good smell. Anyway, she has loved this thing to death. And she requested like a sleeve when she had it made that was really not on the pattern. It was like add the sleeve, but then like cuff it. So she's changed her style a little bit, and I just cut off that sleeve and hemmed it under. So that was one alteration. And then she bought a shirt, and she accidentally bought it a little bit too big. She's like me, she's a little petite in the shoulders, so like to get things to fit right in the shoulders is a little challenging. So she just had me take in about 1 inch, and we just took the entire shoulder and sleeve is how she wanted me to do it. And then I tapered it down to nothing where it joins into the side seam. So that was another alteration. Hardest part of that one, of course, was changing my serger thread. You know, but I needed to get these done because they were starting to kind of stress me out a little. And then, you know, the top I made, the Lamont and the crepe, it's like the neck is just too big. So I'm working on that, and that's a little bit more tedious than I wish it was, but that's what I'm doing in the sewing room. I'm not sure what I want to work on yet. I've got, oh, by the way, okay, so you know how like people are starting to cut stuff out, like 5 things at a time? I mean, of course, Whitney does it, but like I've seen it on other YouTubers too, where they're cut things out. Okay, that doesn't work for me. No, it stresses me out. So I cut out and made a camp shirt for my husband, which I'm gonna showcase for that Man Sews. I don't know the exact hashtag, but you know, there's a challenge coming up that Adam's doing with sewing for men. And so I sewed that up for my husband. But then when I cut it out, I also cut out a camp shirt for my grandson. And so I still have to do that. And then I also cut out a skirt for myself. And that means I can't do anything till I finish those things. And I'm not the fastest sewer. I mean, it's not like I'm mechanically fast. I just that there's so much other stuff. I mean, like, you know, like cleaning and straightening and stuff like that. So I'm going to finish those too. But I did wear my camp shirt today. Oh, this is another thing I've been working on as far as an alteration. So this shirt is the camp shirt, obviously. It's called the Paloma. And I made it before people started making camp shirts, so I couldn't find a pattern. So I made it like 4 years ago. And so I got it so it fit me just right. Well, it's out of a Cupro twill that I got at Joann, and the fabric's really kind of cool. But it was just breaking down a little bit. Like, in other words, some of the joints where the seams come together were fraying a little bit. But most importantly, I just couldn't get the facings to really behave. So I just sewed them all down. And I like it. Okay, so other news, I started switching my summer clothes over, and I'm going to call it pre-summer because I'm not exactly sure what I'm doing this summer as far as clothing goes, but I have 10 white tops. Now, this is the girl that has about 30 items in her closet, so I think we have a little bit of an imbalance there we need to address. And when I say white, I mean vanilla. I just realized I didn't tell you my last pair of Picassos. So I made these this spring, and again, I mean, the only problem with these is that I want to wear them every day. I mean, I literally will say, husband, how many times have I had these on? Like, are people seeing them too much? They go with everything. They are a twill that I picked up in Florida, and they're fabulous. They're a little, and it's funny how this type is a pant. It can look so much different depending on what kind of fabric you have. Like, if you have a thin fabric, it's, you know, flowy, and if you have a thick fabric, it's billowy, you know. And it just depends on your preference. And I put my phone pocket in on the wrong side. I thought, well, I'm just going to put one in, you know. I don't think I had enough fabric for two anyway, but I put it in on the wrong side. But I can still put my phone in it. It's just not, my muscle memory doesn't go to that side, it goes to the other side. So I'm left-handed, fun fact. Well, as usual, I just love reaching out and talking to you guys. And I hope you enjoy me talking about my Picasso pants. And I will see you again soon. Take care of yourself. Have fun sewing.